Hi, I'm Anthony.
He's a hardworking man.
Hi, I'm Steve.
He is Anthony's new boss. He looks like a really cool guy, right? Steven promised to Anthony a promotion by the end of the month. Anthony believes in Steven's words, so he works really hard day by day. However, it turns out that Steven is not as nice as Anthony imagined. No matter how hard Anthony works, Steven argued that Anthony will not receive his promotion because it was still not good enough. So Anthony keeps on working harder. He spends more time, 15 hours a day. Anthony gives up his social life. Nothing else matters to him but work. He doesn't hang out with friends anymore.
Where's Anthony?
Have you seen him?
He does not answer my calls.
I'm sorry guys, I'm really busy working for my good boss.
There, son. I haven't had a chance to talk to you. How are you?
Hi mom, I'm sorry, but I can't talk to you right now. I'm really busy.
Hi, darling. How have you been?
Hi baby, I'm sorry, but I can't talk to you. I'm really busy.
Anthony keeps himself busy every day. He still hopes that at the end of this month, he can finally get his promotion. So, at the end of the month, he reaches Steven to claim his cherished promotion.
Hello boss, I've been working so hard this month. May I get my promotion?
Hello, Anthony. I'm sorry, but your work is still not good enough. Actually, I have noticed that you have reduced the productivity of our company. I do like your performance. Your work hasn't satisfied me lately.
I know it's my fault, sorry. I promise that I will work really harder.
Anthony doesn't blame or has any resentment for Steven. He actually defends him. Did you know that this case has a name? Well, it's called Corporate Stockholm Syndrome.
This is defined as the phenomenon wherein employees begin to identify with and be deeply loyal to an employer that mistreats them. But how do we identify it? If you have noticed that your job is overwhelming you emotionally, psychologically, and financially, if you have a boss that uses notions of transparency as emotional leverage to bargain your salary against you, if you have been asked to engage in a fake contracting arrangement, if you have worked for a failed unpaid internship program, if you are overworking with the hope that someday your boss will give you that promotion he has been offering you for a long time, then you are experiencing the corporate Stockholm syndrome. This phenomenon plays the same dynamics that the traditional Stockholm syndrome does. Actually, the traditional Stockholm syndrome is defined as a psychological phenomenon observed in situations where hostages sympathize with their captor even though they are mistreated. For example,
No, everything's okay. You're a part of something now. It's just like you.
A working theory from 1971 was that a transient killed the family and abducted Kathy Gray. Then all the leads went cold.
How do you watch your family get murdered and then make a life of the people who did it?
It's Stockholm Syndrome. You adapt or die.
And now she's training her son to be a murderer.
At a certain point, once traditions are handed down generation after generation, there is no right or wrong. You simply accept the way the world works.
Yeah, so Stockholm Syndrome is a phenomenon by which, in a situation where somebody is captured or taken hostage or there's a kidnapping, the individual who's been kidnapped afterwards will show feelings of sort of empathy or sympathy or sometimes a certain degree of attachment with their captors. Despite the fact that given the situation and given the conditions they were put in and given the violations that they suffered during this time, it seems to be irrational to hold these beliefs towards your captors.
on the other hand, an example for the corporate Stockholm syndrome is
Good morning, Miranda.
Hey, Isaac. I don't see my breakfast here. Are my eggs here? Where are my eggs?
Excuse me.
Pick up the Polaroids from the lingerie shoot.
Oh, okay, I just want to say that, yes, there are things that Miranda does that I don't agree with. But
Come on,
You hate her. Just admit it to me.
No.
She's a notorious sadist, and not in the good way.
Okay, she's tough, but if Miranda were a man, no one would notice anything about her except how great she is at her job.
I'm sorry. I can't believe this. You're defending her.
Yeah.
But the example we talked about before with the Devil Wears Prada, it could potentially be an example there where somebody works for an organization and it becomes, very difficult in the circumstances. The setting is very difficult. The types of stress the individual is under is clearly uncomfortable, but will still sort of develop these sort of empathetic, warm feelings towards their boss, basically.
So now we know the differences of Stockholm Syndrome and corporate Stockholm Syndrome, but what about the differences of their consequences? For the Stockholm Syndrome, people got kidnapped, raped, beaten up, and starved. Even after they were rescued, the victims still felt like they had an attachment to the attacker. Studies found that the victims felt bad for the attacker that was caught and arrested. One victim said that she cried when she knew her attacker committed suicide. When asked why she felt like that, she answered,
I feel like I don't deserve to live.
Basically, the attacker had beaten up the victim so badly and made her feel worthless. On the other hand, corporate Stockholm Syndrome is something more invisible. The employers use methods to manipulate your mind without physical contact. The victims of the corporate Stockholm Syndrome will feel attached to the company at such level that they will lose their self-identity, which will be replaced by a sense of loyalty to the company. So, as you might have already noticed, it is really hard to determine the legal implications of this syndrome unless you realize what you're suffering and take action. One of the reasons this video has been produced was to educate people about the corporate Stockholm Syndrome, so people that are currently suffering it will be able to identify it, to take actions over it. For instance, the identification of this phenomenon is the first step you have to take for overcoming it. Then, you should list and rank your priorities. Subsequently, you should get support from your family and friends for finally visiting a therapist. An additional tip that I can share with you is to be informed about the average salary for your job position and understand what are your rights so that you can stand up if they are violated.